And now from the new notes, we enter the world of agriculture. For some time now, farmers in the country's food basket of the North Rift have been complaining of mistreatment by the government and failure to pay them their dues for delivered grains. On this week's episode of The Next Frontier, Philip Keitani spent time with one of such farmers and tells us her story.
Maize is the single most extensively grown crop in Kenya. It is the staple food for more than 80% of the population. Its average per capita consumption is 103 kilograms per person and a favorite for both the rich and the poor. The crop accounts for 3% of Kenya's GDP, but in the recent past, the crop has turned into a source of pain for the majority of maize farmers in the country's North Rift. Meet Eglin Choge, a large-scale maize farmer from Trans Nzoia County, whose pain and tribulation of being a maize farmer are bottled up in her as she contemplates her next move.
I'm a large-scale maize farmer, and this year I didn't do much because of the disappointments I got in 2017-2018.
The crop was a cash cow in the past, but now for farmers like Eglin, she feels she is being punished for growing the crop.
There's a lot of frustration in maize farming, and the government is not helping us farmers. So most of the farmers this time have not planted much. And come next year, there should be a shortage of food because of this issue.
After struggling with disease, pests, erratic rains and low prices for the last 3 years, a rising number of Kenyan farmers are giving up on maize. The farmers, in particular those who have been growing the crop on large scale in the breadbasket regions of Uasin Gishu counties, Trans Nzoia and Bungoma, are left pondering what the future holds for them and their children.
For me, I was not paid in 2017-2018 just because I was labeled as a cartel, and you can see for yourself, I'm a large-scale farmer. That time I had done around over 400 acres, and I was paid half of that money.
Kenya consumes about 300,000 metric tons of maize per month. This is equivalent to 3.3 million 90-kilogram bags. It is estimated that farmers are still holding some 500,000 bags of maize from the last year's harvest. This is after struggling with the fall armyworms and low rains, which was the biggest threat in their production of the crop.
I don't know if our president or our leaders know what the farmers go through. Like this issue of payment. We have not, about 11 farmers have been cleared for payment, and we are not yet paid. And if you try to find out why, they talk of KRA issues. If there are issues to do with taxes, they can do your mathematics on how much you are supposed to pay, and then they deduct from the money that they owe us, and we are paid.
The current crisis over maize farming is an invaluable opportunity for us as a country to rethink our agricultural policy. Most maize farmers in the North Rift are yet to be paid by the National Cereals and Produce Board. Political elites from the regions have expressed conflicting views on the matter. Some are urging farmers to diversify away from the maize to more productive cash crops. Others want the state to streamline maize farming, including the subsidies and timely payment of farmers. Unfortunately, the debate is being drowned by the 2022 politics.
They import maize at around 4,600, and they are not able to buy our own maize at even 3,000. And you see there is a foul play in that, because you cannot buy maize from other countries at a higher price, and you are not able to pay your own people 3,000 lower price than the imported ones.
According to Mrs. Choge, maize farming contributes to a quarter of our gross domestic product, and for this reason, it will be foolish to completely abandon an important anchor of the economy. At the farm, she wondered aloud if those in charge of the sector have thought of the potential knock-on effects to other sectors when we start importing all our maize. Will the alternative cash crops work for our farmers in the long run? And if the sector is left to die, what do we do with the infrastructure that we have built around maize farming in the country?
I will not agree with the issue of avocados because, number one, like for me, you've seen my stores. I cannot harvest avocado and put in those stores. But for maize, I can keep maize for as long as I can, though it is costly. So avocados, you cannot even keep in your own kitchen. You cannot keep avocado for 2 days. How about avocados that maybe if you have like 10 or even 100 acres, how are you going to harvest and keep them in the store? You can't. You can't. Those are perishable items. You can't.
According to her, our political elites are the proverbial fools who will kill the golden goose that lays the golden egg. They are not investing in mass job creation. They have no plans for alternative source of livelihood for households that depend on farming. Yet because they can make quick profits from commodity smugglers, they are willing to expose maize farmers to the vicissitudes of rigged markets. The end result will be the mass impoverishment of farmers in the country.